What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. FantasyTeamAdvisors.com, bringing home the bacon. NFL DFS video for Christmas edition. We've got 2 games, 4 teams, 2 great matchups. We're going to cover it all. So if you've never been here before, welcome. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at both games. We're going to break it down. We're going to use our matchup tool, which is right here, and we are going to build you. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through everything. Vegas odds, spreads, everything there. We're going to look at the matchup tool, look at the fantasy points per game, look at the stats the defenses have given up. Then we're going to build some lineups. We're going to build a couple on DraftKings, a couple on FanDuel, and a couple on Yahoo for you. So stick around. And if you've never been here before, we do have giveaways every single one of these videos. Here's how to win in these videos. Like this video. Make sure you are already a YouTube subscriber, and you have to leave a comment on the video so the comment picker can pick you up. If this video gets at least 50 likes, you will have and you've left a comment, you will have a chance to win a free week of FTA+. Now, that is every sport that we offer. Currently, for this week, it is NBA and NFL. After next week, MMA and PGA will be back. Well, after the first of the year, so I think it's in 2 weeks. If this video gets at least 100 likes, you'll have a chance at a free month of FTA+. 150 likes, a free year. 200 or more likes on this video, a chance at a lifetime pass. So what we're doing is we had the same video for last Saturday's slate. We're going to break that down by seeing who the winner is. So in last Saturday's slate, we had 753 views, 16 comments, and 53 likes. So one of you have a 1 in 16 chance to win a free week of FTA+, and we are going to roll it right now. The winner of the free week is Freddie Thomas 2608. Congratulations, Freddie. All you got to do is email me, dfshelp1@gmail.com. That's dfshelp, the number 1 at gmail.com. Let me know if you have a username on the website. If you do not, let me know that as well. And let me know a username and email you would like to set up, and we will get you set up on the site. So, that being said, we are going to check everything out. We've got today for NFL Week 17. I cannot believe we're already here. We have this video out. We're going to have the Thursday Night Football Showdown breakdown out. We are going to have the Stacks article or video out. We're going to have the main slate breakdown out, the Sunday Night Football breakdown, and actually we have Saturdays too. So Monday Night Football breakdown, and then even Saturday. I think there's 3 games on Saturday, so we'll have a video just like this. So make sure you subscribe, because in that video, we will see who the winner is from this video. So that being said, we are looking at the Vegas odds real quick. We have the Kansas City Chiefs going to Pittsburgh. Chiefs are only a 2.5-point favorite with an over-under 43.5. In this game, Kansas City has only covered 6 of the last 10 times in an over of 43.5. They've just been lower scoring games, and they've barely won the games. Being a spread of 2.5 is pretty close. So Steelers, you've got Russell Wilson. Absolutely loved him last week. We got what we needed. If you watched the breakdown last Saturday, we killed it. We did that. We killed it with the showdown as well. You guys told me and showed me you killed it with Sunday Night Football breakdown and Monday Night Football breakdown. So it was a huge Week 16. Let's make Week 17 even better. So the second game, we've got same thing, afternoon. We've got the Ravens at the Houston Texans. We've got Baltimore only a 5.5-point favorite. So hopefully, if CJ Stroud can find whatever he's missing from last year, we could have a good shootout here. We have an over-under 46.5. The Ravens have covered this 8 of their last 10 games, the last 2 in a row on the over. They've also covered 5.5. Spread 6 of their last 10 games, and they've covered it twice in that. So what we're going to do is we are going to look at the matchup tool. Now, here's how you read our matchup tool. So this is filtered to only these games on Saturday, but if you bring down the filter button here, it's every game and it's the opponent. So these are the defenses. These are what they rank in the red zone. These are the stats they've given up to the quarterbacks, and these are the fantasy points allowed per game to this position. So this is the quarterback position. You can see the Ravens defense against the quarterback ranked 28th out of 32. They're giving up 21.1 fantasy points per game. If there is a game for CJ Stroud to be able to right the ship, show us who he was last year, run more, he's in a good spot. The Ravens defense have given 5 300-plus yard passing games. They've given up 25 touchdowns, 221 yards on the ground, and 3 rushing touchdowns. On the same sense, Houston ranks 19th, so Lamar is in a great spot. Houston's defense has given up 3,300 passing yards, 28 touchdowns, but they do have 19 interceptions. So in order would be looking at C.J. Stroud, we would look at Lamar, we'd look at Patrick Mahomes, and then we'd look at Russell Wilson if we were to just follow this and that's it. But if we find that same sense, let's think about using a little bit of Russell Wilson too, because his ownership should be a little bit lower. So then we look at the running backs. You can see that the Ravens have given up 75 receptions and 632 yards to opposing running backs. So you've got Joe Mixon there, who's in a great spot. Overall, against the running back, though, they've been pretty damn good. And you can see that whatever, and you can sort it however you want. But if you were to look at the matchup tool, it would show that Isaiah Pacheco might be in a good spot, or Kareem Hunt, or Samaje Perine, depending on who gets in there. Then would be Joe Mixon and Ogunbowale possibly. Then if we follow this, Texans have ranked 6 out of 32, so they've been pretty good. Derrick Henry is another beast, though. We know that. And then the Kansas City Chiefs. You've got Najee Harris and you have Jaylen Warren. Now, last week, I said I like Jaylen Warren more than Najee Harris, and he came through for us. I don't get that same sense because the Chiefs' defense on the run, they're very good. They are ranked number 1 against the opposing running backs, only averaging 14.9 fantasy points per game. So that is how you read that part. Wide receivers, you can see this and how it's ranked. But we are looking at the Ravens secondary. They're very bad. They're giving up 39 DraftKings points per game. They rank 30 out of 32. On FanDuel, they give up 32 fantasy points, ranked 29th. So we are looking at Nico Collins. Obviously, Tank Dell is hurt. Is he out for the year? Tank Dell, yeah. Did he tear his ACL? Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah, it was disgusting. So you are looking at a fantastic spot here for Houston. So Nico Collins, Mechie the third, Robert Woods. You could look at Hutchinson. Hasn't really done much, but we'll get to that when we get to that. Matchup tool-wise, in order, it would be the Texans, secondary or wide receivers, the Ravens, so Bateman and Zay Flowers. Steelers, again, if George Pickens is out, it gets a little bit still murky. Was estimated as a full participant in a walkthrough. That doesn't mean anything. He walked around. Cool. Has not been returned yet. Or I don't know if he'll play. That would bring us up to Calvin Austin, who we absolutely loved last week. 10.5. Got us double digits. Just didn't get that touchdown that we needed. Mike Williams, really, we talked about him. He didn't really do anything. We talked about Van Jefferson a little bit. Really didn't do anything either. Again, there's not a ton to like about this Pittsburgh offense if Pickens is out. If Pickens is in, we'll give it a little bit. But he could re-aggravate whatever's wrong, and that would be a problem. So then we look at the Chiefs wide receivers as the fourth and last option because Pittsburgh's pretty good. That being said, it's still Xavier Worthy. It's still DeAndre Hopkins. It's still Patrick Mahomes. So there are options there. Then we get into tight ends. If you look at the tight end, overall, we have the Chiefs are the second or 30 out of 32 rank against the opposing tight end. So we're looking at Freiermuth here. Love me some Muth. Think he gets in the end zone this week. The Ravens are 22nd, so we are looking at Dalton Schultz if you want to. The Chiefs are third, which would be obviously Travis Kelce or Noah Gray, who I believe he had a touchdown last week. And then the Texans, whether or not they rank 9th out of, so they're very bad, or they're very good against the tight end. So Mark Andrews, who scoring touchdowns, you've got Isaiah Likely there as well. So that is how you read the matchup tool. If you want to check it out in its full entirety, go for it. It is there for you. It is under the first tab, matchup tool. It is completely free. We've also got everything else that you need. There will be no cheat sheet for this slate. We only do the main slate cheat sheets, but we have a free Discord. So if you've got questions or lineup builds that you want to ask, right down below in the description is a completely free Discord. So that being said, I think it's time we build some of these lineups. And we also have some sports bets in that completely free down below in the NFL sports bet channel on the Discord. So make sure you check it out. So if he gets back to where he needs to go and he shows us what he did last year, I love CJ Stroud. He's got a great matchup here. The problem is he just has not shown us what we needed to see. Still put up 18 against Kansas City, which is better than what he did the previous. I mean, he hadn't done that since week 6. So we were on him. Obviously, he lost Tank Dell. He lost some of these guys. But we could still look at Stroud throwing it. So obviously, you want to stack him with Nico Collins. And I also want to look at Joe Mixon. Great matchup for him out of all these matchups. So those would be the 3 Houston guys that I'd look at. You also have to go different ways. I did forget with Kansas City. Like, if we are looking at this and you need another running back, you could pay up $8,200 for Derrick Henry. You got Pacheco, who's in a good matchup. You got Jalen Warren, who is now more expensive than Najee Harris. Justice Hill, who did get hurt and screwed a lot of people's parlays over, mine included. They are there. If Hill misses, then you do have, Keaton Mitchell. Didn't do anything, has not played since week 12, but he could be in there. You do have Cordarrelle Patterson. He actually put up 8.2 fantasy points, had a touchdown, had 1 reception, 1 target for a tutty for 4,000. He is now 4,100, so he could be a sneaky option that people. I mean, he's a running back, but he's also a wide receiver. We remember him being a special teams returner as well, so he can do it all. He's just listed as a running back, but he catches passes too when he gets the opportunity. So if you were to pay and you were to use the matchup tool against running backs, you could see number 1 overall would be the Chiefs. Not the best one, but you could look at Pacheco. The only problem is they've kind of put him on a leash where he hasn't done a ton. They know they're going to the postseason. Maybe saving up some energy for him. That's the only concern I have, because then if we take out Pacheco and we look at like a Kareem Hunt. Now, he had a huge game last week. Everyone will be on Pacheco, okay? So Pacheco costs $5,700. Hunt is down $500. I think I'd rather go Kareem Hunt. Now, Hunt is there, but Pacheco is obviously their number 1. I think they're kind of just holding him back a little bit to be full strength of the playoffs, kind of like what they did with Travis Kelce last year. So then we look at the wide receivers. So using what we've got here, Texans wide receivers are number 1. Ravens are number 2. We were up and down whether or not Zay Flowers or Bateman were going to be there, be the ones last week. We had Bateman as the questionable one, Zay Flowers there. Flowers not participating in practice on Monday. Game logs, you can see that had 100 yards against Pittsburgh, 18.3, but does have a shoulder problem. You can also see that in that same game, Bateman had only 3 targets, 14 yards, but had that touchdown, 8.4. So if Zay Flowers misses, Rashad Bateman is in a good spot at 4,800. I am completely okay with that. Defense-wise, I would go down. I would do the Chiefs. So now that we've done that, and this is a first lineup, we are looking at 5,000 between a wide receiver, tight end, and flex, which we could look at. So if you do want to go down and you want to find some sort of value, you got Hollywood Brown at 4,500. I think they want to get him involved. He had 8 targets last game. Probably could have had a touchdown. I think he went out of bounds a little early because he didn't want to get hurt again. I am all over Hollywood Brown. So now we're at 5,250 for a tight end and a flex. And you can see that Kelsey's only 5,300. You got Freiermuth. When there's 2 games, one of your players, it's okay if your defense goes against one of your players. So if they give up a touchdown to Freiermuth and that's it, or 2 touchdowns, that would be fine. So it's between Freiermuth and Schultz for me. We look at Dalton Schultz, 8 targets, 45 yards, and a touchdown last week. He was 3,400. I'm going to go Dalton Schultz there. Now we have flexibility of 6,400. And you really can go anywhere you want here. You go Zay Flowers in a great matchup. If he plays, you have both Bateman and Zay Flowers. We've left nothing on the table. All the salary is used, and we're going to go with that as our first lineup. I do not mind that lineup whatsoever. CJ Stroud is in a good spot this week. I do believe in a great spot. So that's one lineup. We could do a second line. We could do a different one. Obviously, Lamar Jackson is in a great spot as well. And just like he's in the race for the MVP, I don't think it's locked up yet. You can see he's dominated. He's going up against Houston. Have they faced Houston this year? He has not. And yeah, like it's a great matchup, so I'm going to put him in there. He obviously has to throw it to somebody. I'm going to have him throw it to Zay Flowers. I'm going to put Zay in there. So we've got those. What people aren't going to be on, defense-wise, I think the Steelers. Okay? Steelers against Patrick Mahomes. What the Steelers were able to do against Lamar last week was only 2. But that's Lamar, and they have a little bit better option there. So that's kind of just a start build. I think Nico Collins has to be in every single one of your lineups. I don't see how we get away from him. I don't see it at all. Tight end wise, I think I'm going to go with Freiermuth here. So now we're at 5,100 the rest of the way. So depending on the running back situation, I think I still get Joe Mixon in there. Flex, again, we're at 4,300. You can find down here at flex maybe Dalton Schultz. That's probably as low. What did P. Ryan do last week? I mean, he had 3 targets for 50 yards. So he's always an option there, a cheap option at 4,000. But we have the Steelers defense. So I think I'm going to go with Dalton Schultz there. So we're looking at 4,400 for a running back and 4,400 for a wide receiver, or give or take. So Kareem Hunt at 52, and now 3,600 for a wide receiver. I think it's going to get in a little bit of territory where you got to get crazy. So you got Juju there. Didn't do anything. Had 1 target, nothing again in that Houston game. Nothing there. Hutchinson could get a boost with Tank Dell being out. Van Jefferson didn't do much. So it gets a little murky if you go with a Kareem Hunt there. But let's say we do go with a P. Ryan. Okay? At 4. Now wide receiver at 4,800. Bateman, Hollywood Brown, Calvin Austin. I don't care. So you have Lamar Jackson thrown to both Bateman and Flowers. And then if for whatever reason Flowers does miss this game, since there's not very much to go off of, you could drop down to Worthy or DeAndre Hopkins or Hollywood Brown and be okay with that. So that is a second lineup using Lamar Jackson. Now a third lineup that I want to look at, one that I think people will be off of because of the defense, is Russell Wilson. We used him last week. I like this matchup for him, so I've got Russell Wilson there. In the same sense, who's he going to throw it to? I think we go back to the well right here. He's got it. I'm in my mind, Pickens is probably out. So if Pickens is out, Calvin Austin III is back. That's for me. Running back, I want Joe Mixon, and I want Kareem Hunt. Nico Collins is one of my core plays. He's going to be in all of my lineups. Defense-wise, I don't think we can trust the Texans' defense against Lamar. So in my mind, Texans, they are out already. Ravens' defense against C.J. Stroud, you could look at that. Chiefs' defense, you don't really want to go with that because we are going with Pittsburgh here. So we take the Ravens. Now tight end, I want him throwing it to Freiermuth. We're at 6,000 for a wide receiver and a flex option. Zay Flowers, Bateman, Hopkins, Hollywood Brown, Mechie, you could go all of these guys. If Pickens is in, I'll put Pickens in there. But for now, in my mind, he is out. We're going to go Bateman. And now a flex option, 7,200. You could go Flowers again. You could go Pacheco. You could go Warren or Najee Harris. I'd rather go Warren in that. You could go Kelsey. So I'm going to go Kelsey. We've left 1,900 on the table. We've used Russell Wilson. We've used 3 of the 4 quarterbacks. The only one we did not use was Patrick Mahomes. And you can, but for this instance, like, those are the ones I'm going with. So that's what I'm going with for DraftKings. Now we move over to FanDuel. Again, 2 games. Pricing's a little bit different, so we'll make what we can. But let's start the same thing. Let's look at C.J. Stroud. He is 7,300. He's only $200 more. So I got Stroud in there. I got to get Nico Collins in there. I got to get Schultz in there. So we're looking at that. I think I also want to look at Joe Mixon. Okay? Now, what can we build with this? So we're at 6,000 the rest of the way. Well, defense-wise, we're obviously not going Baltimore this one. Kansas City's the highest one there, which is crazy. Pittsburgh against Kansas City. the Ravens, which we're not going to go with, or the Chiefs against Pittsburgh. I'm going to go with the Chiefs defense. We're still now averaging 6,400. Running back, wide receiver, and a flex. So if we look at the running backs, and we're at 6,400, Kareem Hunt makes that list at 62. Now, wide receiver-wise, we're at 65. You can come down Hollywood Brown, Rashad Bateman, DeAndre Hopkins. With Kansas City Chiefs, I still want to just go Calvin Austin if Pickens is out. Now we're at 6,900 for 2. So I'll go Hollywood Brown, and now our flex, we're at 7,400 for a flex, which opens up a ton of possibilities. So if Zay Flowers is in, Xavier Worthy, Travis Kelce, you could look at all of these guys. I'm going to go with Worthy. So we're looking at C.J. Stroud all the way down to the Kansas City Chiefs defense. That is one lineup. Now, let's go to... We'll build another one. Wednesday only. We'll build this one, and we'll enter a new lineup. So I'm going to go same game with quarterback, but I'm going to go Lamar Jackson. We've got Lamar. I think I want to get Joe Mixon in there. I want Lamar obviously throwing it to some of his guys. So let's say Zay Flowers does play. I'm going to have him and Bateman in there. And the defense. Because C.J. Stroud has looked bad overall this year. Overall, he has. We're still at 6,400. Tight end-wise, you could look at Mark Andrews, but I'm going to look at Freiermuth. We're at 67 for a running back. So you have Kareem Hunt, Samaje Perine you could look at. So if we look at what Pittsburgh's defense has done to the opposing running backs in the passing game, 523 yards and 1 touchdown, and 1 100-yard receiving game from a running back. And they are the worst team out of all of these against the running back. So we'll take that information. We'll plug in Perine at 4,900. And now we are at 7,700 for a wide receiver and a flex. Nico Collins. Now we're at 6,300 for a flex. We can still go with Kareem Hunt if you want. You could go Mark Andrews. You could go DeAndre Hopkins. What did Hopkins do last week? I forget. 437 yards. You could go Najee. You could go Pacheco. I don't trust them. I'm going to go Hunt. I'm going to have both of the backups because I think a lot of you guys, or a lot of, not you, but a lot of the people that don't watch these videos are going to go a different direction. And I like this matchup as well. So there's FanDuel. And now Yahoo's a little bit different. Depending on what you want to see, the pricing's way different. And there's only a couple of you that play, so we're not going to do it a ton, but we're going to build one lineup basically, or we'll do 2. We got C.J. Stroud. I got to get Mixon in there. Wide receiver, I got to get Nico Collins in there. Tight end, looking at tight ends, I've got to get. You could go Schultz, you could go Fryer. I'm going to go Freiermuth. They're right next to each other in price. And then defense-wise, probably going to go to the Chiefs there. Now we're averaging $19 for a running back, wide receivers, and a flex. So you could look at Kareem Hunt. Wide receiver-wise, $20 is what you're looking at, give or take. So Rashad Bateman at 22. Come down here. Do a little bit of... Depends on how far down you want to go. It's not much to like down there. We will go Calvin Austin. It's still going against his defense. I get that, but now it's average 22 for a flex spot. So you could go Xavier Worthy, the number 1 wide receiver for them. And that is one lineup. So that's one lineup we'll do. We'll enter that lineup. I can't play paid games, which is stupid. I can only play free games on Yahoo, which just doesn't make any sense to me. But it is what it is, as they say. So we'll do one more lineup. Let's do one that we have not done. Patrick Mahomes. So we got Mahomes here. We've talked about him, but we haven't used him. Derrick Henry, big guy. Joe Mixon. So wide receivers. I think Nico Collins goes in there. I think we get in, let's go Hollywood Brown. Tight end, let's go Schultz. Defense, let's go the Chiefs defense. So if we do that, we can only average $10 for a flex and a wide receiver. So it gets a little bit dicey now that you have $10. But you're looking at Van Jefferson, Scotty Miller. So Scotty Miller, I believe, did he do anything last week? He did not. He had 1 target. Who am I thinking of? I'm thinking somebody else. And that's where it gets a little bit dicey. Go Mike Williams. Flex $11. Where's P. Ryan? P. Ryan at 10. You could do that. And if you, that's not a bad lineup. That is a completely GPP only lineup. That's only what you do for 2 games, but that's what we've got. So those are the lineups. That is the breakdown. If you have any questions, let us know. I'll try to answer them in the Discord down below, which you can find. But you can look at a lot of things. So again, 4 games, or four teams, 4 quarterbacks, 2 games. The weather should be good. We got a dome in Texas, and we've got, as of now, Christmas in Pittsburgh. Doesn't sound too appealing, but for this game, there's no weather. Should be good to go. So, looking at that is the breakdown of the the Wednesday Christmas slate. We will have a breakdown of Thursday Night Football. We will have a breakdown of Saturday 3-game slate. We'll have a breakdown for the main slate on Sunday, a Sunday Night Football breakdown, and even a Monday Night Football breakdown. So that is what we've got. Any questions, comments, concerns, let us know down below. It's Christmas. We have 5 NBA games as well. Make sure you check out that breakdown as well, live on the channel. Good luck to everybody. Have a Merry Christmas, and hopefully Santa helps you bring home the bacon. Peace.